The Lord told Jonah to arise and go to Nineveh. God's eyes had seen their sin. Their time was up, and soon they'd drink God's wrath-filled cup. But Jonah didn't want to go to preach this dreadful word of woe. So down to Joppa Jonah trod to try to get away from God. He got on board a ship that day and sailed for Tarshish, far away. In vain the prophet tried to flee. God sent a storm upon the sea. Each sailor quickly grabbed an oar and vainly tried to row to shore. The prophet told them about his sin and said, "You'll need to throw me in if you want God, this storm, to end and make the waters calm again." With heavy hearts they followed through and tossed him in the ocean blue. The Lord then sent a great big fish to swallow up this tasty dish. 3 days and nights God's man was there. In chapter 2, we see his prayer.
I called to God in my distress, surrounded by the ocean's depths, where weeds were trapped around my head. I thought I was as good as dead. Yet in that deep, dark, dreadful place, God showed me mercy, love, and grace. The things that I could not perceive, but chose by faith to still believe. From fishes' gut I give my praise to you, the sovereign God who saves. 'Twas then God did the fish command it, threw up Jonah on dry land.
With slimy Jonah back on shore, God spoke to him just like before. Determined this time to obey, the prophet left with no delay. For Nineveh, the no-good town, where God would rain his judgment down. In 40 days you'll be overthrown, the prophet said in a somber tone. The people listened and believed. They fasted, prayed, and greatly grieved over all their sin from which they turned to serve the one true God they'd spurned. With mighty mercy, God the Lord, despite their sins in which he abhorred, withheld the judgment they deserved when their repentance he observed.
And what of Jonah, you may ask? Upon completion of his task, he made his great displeasure known to God for all the grace he'd shown. That's why I fled from you at first, because you love the very worst. Your grace is great, your anger slow. Why must you such great mercy show? Then, angry as a man can be, he said, "Lord, take my life from me." But God replied, "Do you do well to be so mad? And then do tell." The prophet sat beneath the shade, wrought by a plant the Lord had made. This setup made old Jonah smile, and he felt happy for a while.
But then a worm sent by the Lord ate up that lush giant gourd. The sun beat down on Jonah's brow. He faintly prayed, "Lord, kill me now." Then came his answer from the Lord. "You showed such pity for the gourd, a plant not made or grown by you. And here, just a day or two, should I not care? Nineveh, whose multitudes are lacking the discernment to choose right from wrong, 120,000 strong? Remember, those who cattle too, which may not mean that much to you, but they are worth much more than a gourd, and matter much to me, the Lord."
And on this note, the story ends. What difference will it make, my friends, in our own lives as we think through the lessons here for me and you? When God commands, we will obey, or will we run the other way? Is mercy just for me and you and not for other people's too? The sign of Jonah points today to Jesus Christ, the living way. He died and rose to save the lost. Let's spread the news, whatever cost.